Some huge things have happened at theme parks all around the world, including a brand new major roller coaster opening very unexpectedly, another big new roller coaster in the US testing, and it somehow during testing managed to launch and perfectly stall on its dive loop, and alongside that, RETRACK announcements, some sad closures, and an announcement from a popular European theme park that's going to be making a recreation of London. As you can tell, it has been a hectic week because all that and even more has happened this past week in theme parks. Yes, welcome back to one of the series of all time, this past week in theme parks, where we take a look at the news at theme parks in the past 7 days. Never would have thought that, would you? And like said, so much has happened. So if you do want to skip to specific stories, be sure to use the video progress bar chapters below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. These videos do take quite some time to research and create each week. So yes, subscribing would be massively appreciated. But with that all said and done, how on earth are we going to get through all this news? There's too much to go through. We could be here for a millennium if it wasn't for the quickfire news segment. Let's do this. And we're starting here in the UK. You thought I was about to jump to somewhere else, but I just jumped in the same spot and it looked really awkward. Beginning with some Merlin pass changes, which they've practically slashed loads of different pass options and made Platinum pointless, with the Discovery and Silver annual passes now not existing and being replaced by the Essential Pass, and Gold now allowing access to 361 days of entry instead of the much less days it was before. Only thing missing from that pass is Alton Towers Fireworks, which has had a big announcement showcasing what we can expect from the show. And of course, we did speak about this last week, and there was a storyline written about AI.
I love AI. Do you use AI? Absolutely. Do you use ChatGPT?
They have now reworded that story and sort of pushed out more that it is obviously going to be made by humans and it's just a story based on Alton intelligence. AI. Towers have also just announced their brand new vice president of the resort, that being Howard Eberson, who was actually previously last year the vice president of Chessington. And to be fair, during his time, the amount of investments that are now coming to Chessington, he's put them on a path to success. Not necessarily this year because there's not a lot happening, but with next year and the year after, I'm excited to see what Howard does at Towers, because like I said, he started so much at Chessington, and there's obviously the Paw Patrol area opening next year, which has now had roller coaster supports delivered to the site, ready to go up hopefully very, very soon. Thorpe Park have made some progress as well with Samurai, their flat ride, because yes, like it tends to do pretty much every year, Samurai was closed for many weeks and has now reopened, although Zodiac is still dead in the water. It broke. At Thorpe still, Hyperia was pictured going down its drop, sparking on its wheels. Bit worrying, but it looks really, really cool. And in Wales, they did announce earlier this year that Oakwood theme park was closing. But only recently are we now seeing the removal of one of their biggest coasters, Speed No Limits. The Gerstlauer Eurofighter, yeah, really sad to see that go. And it probably won't be long till Megaphobia goes as well. I've already got a piece of it in my garden. Might as well rebuild the thing. Wouldn't that be awesome? But yeah, not too much going on in the UK, which is why we're already travelling over to Europe via plane on the Eurostar, however you want to travel. I always thought the Eurostar was actually going to be a glass tunnel under the water with fish and everything. Let's get back into the news, because over in Disneyland Paris, their Walt Disney Studios park is no more, because the text that says that park's name has now been slowly removed around the park as it transitions to DLP Adventure World. And inside that park is of course Ratatouille, one of the greatest dark rides ever, because it's based on one of the best Disney films ever. And that original ride in Paris has now closed for refurbishment, and it will reopen at some point in 2026, alongside the one in the US that's closing for a few days to go from 3D to 2D in November. Fun fact, travelling ahead. The Plopsa company have confirmed the closure of an indoor amusement park in Antwerp that I'd never heard of. Let me read you this genuine headline. Dutch people are building a brand new amusement park in Poland with famous TV heroes. Permit granted. So if you're Dutch, you are now building a theme park in Poland. Vogel Rock at Efteling, the indoor roller coaster, managed to get stuck just before the station, and staff had to push the train back in. I thought birds were supposed to fly on their own. And remaining at Efteling, Python is set to receive a third train. The third train is supposedly going to be ready for early 2026. And don't worry, there won't be any block section issues, because it will never actually run the 3 trains at once. They'll have one in storage ready for when another one needs to go in, and then they can switch that out. So it will always run 2 trains from this point onwards, hopefully. And that is really, really nice to see. And breathe. I think that is the quick fire segment done. There's a lot of stories we still need to talk about, but not as quickly as that. Because now we need to get sad. Because after 7 years of operation, if you've ever heard this soundtrack by Imascore, yes, that is a chicken soundtrack, for Wildy Hildy at Schwaben Park, that is now going to be closing for good. Too wild of a ride for the park, they say. No pun intended. I'm not sure if this will be rethemed or not, but it has actually been sold to another German park, so the coaster itself will live on, but whether or not the chicken theme and that amazing soundtrack lives on is another story, and that's why I'm sad, because I love that soundtrack. Honestly, top bucket list coaster, and I'm very sad I never got to do it. Something I have done is ride Dragon Khan at Portaventura World, one of Europe's most poorly operated theme parks, and they've just retracked part of Stampeder, their wooden roller coaster, and now it's the Dragon's turn. Because Dragon Khan will be getting a partial retrack on its vertical loop, the first big one, not the second small one, and the Cobra Roll in its entirety, which is very strange because I thought they would have done a lot more or different elements, but that is really great to see, the fact they are retracking a portion of that. It does make me think that when you go down the drop, it's going to be that classic B&M roughness, and then when you get to the loop, we are in the jackhammer era of B&M. And I hope that does go down well for the park, as I do with everything that Parc Asterix have just announced for the future of the park, because I don't think any other park has been so open about the future of their park. Because not only did they show us an extension of the Egyptian themed land and showed us loads of concept art to do with it, not only did they then also show us the expansion for Greece and show us more concept art for it, but they've also showed us a brand new area that's going to open in 2028 with a dark ride and an Intamin multi-dimension coaster. Yes, that is a big investment and a very high themed experience ride, and it's going to be themed to London. And once again, with that, they have shown us more concept art, and it looks really, really good. You've got this sort of London-looking area right in the centre, which is where obviously like you can see Big Ben and some red buses. They showed a huge concept art piece of a shooter ride experience that's going to be in the London area. I think shooting, maybe not on theme. Could have been knives, but no, this looks really, really cool. And some things to notice is the fact that there's like a carnival section, and there's Camden Market and Camden Lock. That's so random, but I kind of like it. But I'm mainly here for this multi-dimension coaster because they've shown loads of theming in like the queue line. You can see, I think that's a tube train, but it just says hot water on it. There's a red telephone box. They've shown us the train that is going to be on the ride. The big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach is no longer the only coaster in the world to have the British flag as its train livery. And they've also shown us the entire layout plan, as you can see right there. They're not keeping any secrets, are they? 37 different track elements, and it looks like it's going to have some sort of spike, and then that weird sort of teeter top turntable thing that's in Planet Coaster 2. Going to have that. It's going to have many launches and loads of different stuff. And one of the most interesting things, and not the fact that it could have on-ride audio where some British guys are going, oh, go get me a bottle of water. No, because on top of those concept arts, they showed us an entire animation of what we can expect inside, and it's really interesting because the coaster is usually just one car, but it's going around as two cars. I wasn't aware that the multi-dimension coasters could do that, and it's really nice to see because I kind of hope Chessington gets that now. But there's like an underground section where there's like a scare with like the train coming at you, and there's loads of like twists and turns through rivers, and like the spike there with the lightning and everything. Is that supposed to symbolize our weather here? It's going to be amazing either way, and I'm excited for it to open in 2028. And now it is time to travel from France in the London area to America, where first of all, I need to go through a lot of Six Flags news, because for some reason, once again, they've had this time of year where they've gone, right, let's release a survey about every single park we have and ask people what they want to see. And I'm going to sort of list through the best ones now. Six Flags Great Adventure used to be home to King Dakar, and now they're not getting the big replacement in 2026. Next year could see a Planet Snoopy family kids area, Zamperla flat rides, or a 400-foot drop tower. Six Flags Great America are looking at a Giga Coaster. That'd be very exciting. Let's just hope it's not another Giga Dive Coaster. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom were looking at the Suspended Thrill Glider, which of course is that new Vekoma glider model. Kings Island used a photo from Hossoland, Poland of their Vekoma Ghost Rider and said a multi-launch coaster could come to the park. Canada's Wonderland said about a new hybrid coaster. That's very interesting. And Carowinds have been talking about a premier launch coaster like Alpen Fury, a B&M Dive, or a wing coaster. So there's a lot of different surveys. I've probably missed a major one, knowing me, but if I have, I'll go through the other ones next week, because there's been some super exciting stuff coming out of America, such as the fact Disneyland and Disney World are going to be getting a new version of Soarin', now called Soarin' Across America, and they had this video announcement of it. Hey, Peter. But that will be nice to see. Kentucky Kingdom have started teasing their brand new ride, where we're going to have to tune in for takeoff on October 27th. Although, spoiler, if you don't want to wait for that announcement, it's a Vekoma suspended coaster. You're welcome. And of course, over at Universal Studios Orlando, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket has been continuously destroyed, now having reached the final stages of destruction, where there's literally only one track piece left. But enough of rides being deconstructed. What about rides and a whole theme park that's being constructed? The Universal Kids Resort in Texas. Now, this entire theme park is just going to be for kids, hence the name. And I've heard a lot of complaints online about the fact that, oh, it's not going to work well, or, oh, why would they just channel it to that one audience? Have you ever heard of Peppa Pig World or Legoland? It works really bloody well. And they've released brand new concept art of what the entire park is going to look like. You've got this Minions Rapids ride, look at that. Loads of different play areas. There's going to be a Shrek ride, I believe. The Jurassic World coaster right there, and I believe a Trolls roller coaster somewhere in there as well. All in these different areas, as you can see on screen. Isle of Curiosity. Stole it from Isle of Discovery, but it's okay, I'll allow it. It's going to be a really nice little park, and it's interesting to see us getting concept art like that a year before it opens, so let's get waiting till 2030 for the ones of Universal Bedford. But talking of new rides, why not talk about the other Universal theme park that's getting a new ride, which is pretty much all of them at this point. Universal Studios Hollywood. They are getting Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift next year in 2026, and it's an Intamin drift coaster. Couldn't tell by the name, and the track has been completed on that for a while now, and we've been waiting to see it test for a while now, and it finally has done a full circuit test run. It went from the station building all the way around, and people spotted it on the brake run, and they've been testing it more ever since. Sadly, without the drifting and without the very cool cars on there, it's sort of just in like a camo livery right now. But there was a camera rig to the front, so they've obviously already filmed a POV, as you can see from these shots here, because they've already showed these photos online. And you can see it sort of doing a bit of a swing launch in the valley launch right there before this video came out, and as you can see, it launches all the way through that valley launch and manages to equally distribute the weight and get stuck at the top of the dive loop. I mean, I don't know whether that was on purpose or not. I assume it might have been. How do you even get that to stop up there? It's so funny. And I'm excited to see the full POV when they do release it. And you know, I circled that news piece as one of the biggest news pieces this week, and it is, amongst many others, along with the fact that COTALand over in Texas decided to randomly open Circuit Breaker, their brand new Vekoma tilt coaster. The park's not supposed to open until next year, but they decided to open this one roller coaster early because of the Formula 1 Grand Prix that was on that weekend. And yeah, it opened up for the first time. I believe you actually had to pay an upcharge price to ride this coaster. And you know, is it like $10, maybe $15? No, $25, in which if you wanted unlimited rides on it with a podium pass included and express, it would cost you $500. That is absolutely criminal. But yes, it did open. Even one of the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula 1 team drivers, Kimi Antonelli, went on it. And with it being that Vekoma tilt coaster, the new generation version, it goes up that lift hill round the corner and then ends up tilting like this all the way down and dropping. So it's a lot of incline to then just go, ooh, a bit like McLaren's season this year. But yes, it opened for those few days, and they got the entire area ready around it, just that one area, linked it up to the track so general admission could go up towards it, and it does look like a really, really nice coaster. And I couldn't watch the race on the night, but when I did watch it back, every single time I was looking, when they went into turn 20 and the main straight, I was like, oh, Circuit Breaker's going in the background. What a great weekend it was for COTALand and COTA in general, because not only did that open, but Max Verstappen won. That is simply lovely. What do you think to all of this news that I've gone through today? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. Goodbye all!